So an interesting case reported there this morning in the media about a Dublin person, a Dublin girl. She's from Clondalkin, 26-year-old lady. She works for an Israeli tech company in Dublin who employ about 500 people. Wix, they're called. They provide a platform for the creation of websites for small business owners and so on. She has been dismissed. She's been fired by the company for anti-Israeli comment online. She was fired on Monday of this week. She described Israel as a terrorist state, and she's worked in Wix for 4.5 years or thereabouts, but she faced a backlash from Israeli comments, or Israeli colleagues rather, about her comments on social media concerning the Israel-Hamas conflict. As I say, Wix is an Israeli software company. They employ about 500 people in Dublin. This lady is 26, she's from Clondalkin, and she has been fired or dismissed with immediate effect on Monday of this week. She described Israel as a terrorist state, and she criticised the indiscriminate bombing of Gaza by the Israeli Defence Forces. Ms. Carey has indicated that she is considering taking a case to the Workplace Relations Commission for unfair dismissal. She wrote that Israel had cut off food, water and electricity to the Gaza Strip, as well as devastated infrastructure such as hospitals and schools. She said the root cause of the violence is a Zionist ideology which denies Palestinian identity. She later clarified that she condemned all forms of terrorism and did not support Hamas. Wix terminated her employment following the backlash from colleagues and indeed from others online customers in recent days. It's understood she was dismissed on Monday of this week. In a statement on Monday, the company president, Nir Zohar, said Wix had, quote, decided to part ways with Ms. Carey. He said he was bombarded with messages from Israeli employees and others criticising her social media posts. Staff in Israel had lost friends and family members in the Hamas attacks and suffered much pain and personal trauma. In the midst of all this, for all Israelis to be called terrorists by someone they perceive as a teammate and a colleague is unfathomable, unexplainable and unacceptable. He said the employee had been asked to be sensitive after an initial post, but later made further comments which pointed a blaming finger at the victims of horrific terrorism. If indeed she was dismissed without due process, without a fair procedure, then the company may be in difficulty if she decides to bring a claim for unfair dismissal. Employees are entitled to fair procedures and natural justice, particularly when it comes to the decision to terminate the employment. So the company may have decided to go ahead anyway, or they may have perhaps done something else, for example, asked her to resign, or maybe gave her some sort of a package or termination agreement. That's pure speculation on my behalf. At the moment, all that's reported online in the newspapers, at least the ones that I rely on, is that she has been terminated, and that Ms. Carey then, speaking to the Irish Times, she said that she feared her dismissal would have a chilling effect on others in the workplace about speaking out. She feared her dismissal would have a chilling effect, and she has obviously concerns about other Wix staff feeling unable to publicly criticise Israel. She was a customer care lead, and she is, according to herself, absolutely considering taking an unfair dismissal case to the Workplace Relations Commission. This is not unlike a case where there was a lady down the country in Carlow or Kilkenny. I think she was working in a dental practice, and she made some comments online, I think on Facebook, about refugees coming to Ireland, and about her views about refugees coming to Ireland, and about Ireland being for the Irish, and that sort of comment. And she was dismissed from her position with the dental practice. She brought a claim to the WRC, and she won her case for unfair dismissal. So employers need to be careful when it comes to disciplining employees in all circumstances, but particularly in relation to comments, for example, made on social media outside the workplace, and in circumstances where if there is no procedure, if there is no process through which a decision to terminate is arrived at, then it's quite possible that the employee will have a strong case for unfair dismissal. Anyway, that's all we know at the moment. The lady in question is there 4.5 years. She has been dismissed on Monday of this week by Wix, and she is from Clondalkin, and she has described Wix as a terrorist state on social media. And Wix are an Israeli company. They employ about 500 people in Dublin, and they provide a platform for making websites and so forth. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below. And you may also be listening to this on to my podcast on Spotify or iTunes, the Irish Law and Small Business Podcast. If you are, I would appreciate if you find it useful that you might leave a review there. Thanks a lot.